Marcus Chen wasn't supposed to have visitors. Ever. That was the whole point of taking a job at the edge of explored space. No people, no drama. Just him and the silent void, moving planets like chess pieces across the cosmic board. He floated in the observation deck, coffee in one hand, stylus in the other, scribbling equations across the holographic display. Below him, a gas giant the size of Jupiter spun lazily, its storms swirling in shades of orange and purple. Beautiful. Quiet. Perfect. The alarm shattered everything. Marcus jerked, and his coffee cup went spinning across the cabin. Brown liquid formed perfect spheres in zero gravity, floating like tiny planets. He cursed under his breath and grabbed for them, missing half. The proximity alert blared again. Louder this time. What the hell? Marcus pushed off the wall and flew toward the control station. His fingers swiped through the holographic screens until he found the radar display. A ship, massive, coming in fast. His station was in restricted space. Nobody came here. That was literally the job description. Wanted, engineer willing to work alone for 5 years. Must enjoy silence and mathematics. Social skills unnecessary. Marcus had been the only applicant who didn't ask about vacation days. He pulled up the ship's signature. 3 times bigger than a standard cargo hauler, military-grade shields. And it was heading straight for him like a bullet. His hand hovered over the emergency beacon. Then he noticed something. The ship wasn't showing weapons hot. No targeting locks, no aggressive posturing. The comm system crackled to life before he could decide what to do. Station Kepler 442. This is research vessel Luminara. We have a critical emergency. Requesting immediate docking permission. The voice was female, definitely not human. Musical almost, like someone singing instead of speaking. Marcus cleared his throat. Luminara. This is Kepler 442. What's the nature of your emergency? Our gravitational stabilizer has failed. We have wounded. We need assistance now. Wounded. That changed things. Space law didn't care about your preference for solitude when people were dying. Copy that, Luminara. You're cleared for docking Bay 3. Sending coordinates now. Marcus's fingers flew across the controls, opening the bay doors and pressurizing the chamber. Gratitude, Kepler 442. Arriving in 15 minutes. The channel went silent. Marcus floated there, staring at the radar blip growing larger on his screen. His peaceful, quiet, gloriously boring job was about to get complicated. He grabbed a clean shirt from his quarters and pulled it on over his thermal underlayer. He hadn't seen another person in 3 months. Hadn't spoken to anyone except the station AI. He caught his reflection in a polished panel and winced. His hair stuck up in every direction. His beard was uneven. He looked like someone who'd been living alone in space. Because he had been. Screw it, he muttered. They were in distress. They didn't care what he looked like. Marcus made his way to the docking bay, pulling himself along the handrails in the zero-gravity corridors. Through the reinforced observation window, he watched the Luminara approach. The ship was gorgeous. All sleek curves and flowing lines, like someone had sculpted it from liquid silver. Blue lights pulsed along its hull in patterns that seemed almost organic, definitely not human engineering. The docking clamps engaged with a metal groan that echoed through the station. Air hissed as the pressures equalized. Marcus checked the atmospheric readout. Breathable, safe, normal. The airlock door opened. Marcus expected maybe 5 people, a pilot, an engineer, a few scientists. Maybe a doctor if they had wounded. Instead, women poured out of the airlock like a flood. 10, 15, 20. Marcus stopped counting at 27. They were all tall, at least 6.5 feet, maybe more. Their skin had a faint lavender tint, smooth and almost luminescent. Silver hair cascaded down their backs in long shimmering waves. Their eyes were huge, taking up more space on their faces than human eyes, and they glowed slightly in the dim light of the docking bay. Colors swirled in those eyes, purple, blue gold. They wore white uniforms that looked like a cross between lab coats and ceremonial robes. Strange symbols glowed on the fabric. Every single one of them turned to look at Marcus. The silence stretched. Marcus raised his hand in an awkward wave. I welcome to Station Kepler 442. I'm Marcus Chen. He was babbling. He stopped talking. One of the women stepped forward. She was taller than the others, and her eyes were the color of amber whiskey. 3 silver marks glowed on her forehead. Some kind of rank insignia, maybe. I am Dr. Vila Theronix, chief researcher of the Luminara expedition. Her voice was just as musical in person. She extended her hand. Marcus shook it. Her hand was warm. Her grip was firm. Her eyes studied him with an intensity that made his skin prickle. You said you have wounded? Marcus looked past her at the others. Nobody looked injured. A figure of speech, perhaps translated incorrectly, Dr. Vila said smoothly. Our ship is wounded. The gravitational stabilizer matrix cracked during our research. We need parts and time to repair. How much time? 6 days, perhaps 7. Marcus felt his eye twitch. 6 days. Is that problematic? Dr. Vila tilted her head. The gesture was oddly bird-like. Your station specifications indicate guest quarters for up to 30 occupants. Yeah, but nobody's ever actually used them. This is a solo operation. That's the whole point. We will be minimal intrusion, Dr. Vila assured him. Behind her, the other women whispered to each other. Marcus caught fragments. Words that sounded like wind chimes and water flowing over rocks. Then one word in clear English, human. They said it the way someone might say unicorn or chocolate cake. Marcus tried not to think about that. Fine, 6 days. The guest quarters are on level 4. I'll show you. He turned toward the corridor, then paused. You can breathe our atmosphere, okay? Need any special accommodations? We are compatible with your environment, Dr. Vila said. Thank you for asking. As Marcus led the group through the station, he became acutely aware of 27 pairs of glowing eyes watching his every move. He heard whispers, giggles, the rustle of fabric as they leaned together to murmur in each other's ears. He felt like a zoo animal. The guest quarters were basic. Sleeping pods lined the walls like high-tech bunk beds. A common area had tables and chairs designed for multiple species. The bathroom facilities were universal standard. This is adequate, Dr. Vila said, but she wasn't looking at the quarters. She was looking at Marcus. Great. So, if you need anything, just use the intercom system. I'll be in the engineering section, working, alone, like usual. Marcus backed toward the door. Marcus Chen? Dr. Vila's voice stopped him. Yeah? You are the only human on this station? Yep, just me. Something flickered across Dr. Vila's face. Her eyes widened slightly. She turned to the others and said something in her language. Musical words that rose and fell like a song. Every single woman in the room turned to stare at Marcus. The temperature seemed to rise 10 degrees. That is, Dr. Vila searched for the word. Unexpected and fascinating. Right, well, I'll just... Marcus pointed vaguely at the door. Yeah, he left before anyone could say anything else. Back in the observation deck, Marcus tried to focus on his work. He had a Class M asteroid that needed redirecting. Simple gravitational calculations, math he could do in his sleep. But he kept hearing voices, laughter echoing through the ventilation system. Footsteps in corridors that had been silent for months. The station felt crowded, alive, wrong. His comm panel pinged. A message from Dr. Vila. Marcus Chen, we would be honored if you would join us for evening meal. It is customary among my people to share food with those who offer sanctuary. Marcus stared at the message. He should say no. He should eat his protein bars alone in the observation deck like always. But saying no felt rude. They were guests. Stranded guests, and he'd been raised with manners. He typed back, sure, what time? The response was instant. 1800 hours. We eagerly anticipate your presence. Eagerly. That word bothered him. Marcus checked his chronometer. 2 hours. Enough time to make himself presentable and prepare for the most social interaction he'd had in 3 months. He had absolutely no idea that his quiet, peaceful life was about to explode. Marcus spent the next 2 hours trying to look like he hadn't been living alone in space like a hermit. He showered, shaved, found his least wrinkled shirt, combed his hair, looked in the mirror. Still looked like someone who talked to computers more than people. Good enough, he told his reflection. At exactly 1800 hours, Marcus stood outside the guest quarters, his hand hovering over the door chime. He could hear voices inside. Laughter, music maybe. The sound of people having a good time. His finger pressed the button. The door slid open instantly. The common area had been transformed. The harsh industrial lighting was dimmed, replaced by soft glowing orbs that floated near the ceiling like tiny moons. The smell hit him next, something cooking, something that smelled incredible. Sweet and spicy and completely unfamiliar. Every woman in the room turned to look at him. Marcus froze. Marcus Chen. Dr. Vila appeared from the crowd, smiling. Please enter. You are our honored guest. I thought you had a broken ship, Marcus said, looking at the elaborate setup. Where did all this come from? A ship may be wounded, but a crew still eats, Dr. Vila said. She guided him to a seat at the head of the table. Please sit, Marcus said. Immediately he was surrounded. Women pulled up chairs on both sides, across from him. The table was suddenly crowded with faces, all watching him with those large, glowing eyes. So, Marcus said, trying to sound casual. Research vessel. What exactly are you researching? Gravitational anomalies in binary star systems, Dr. Vila said. She waved her hand, and a holographic display appeared above the table. Stars and planets rotated in miniature. We study how planetary engineering can be improved through understanding natural, gravitational flows. That's actually what I do here, Marcus said, perking up. I'm redirecting the asteroid belt in this system to prevent future collisions with the habitable zone. The women leaned forward. You do this alone? One of them asked. She had violet eyes and silver marks on her cheeks. Yeah, it's mostly calculations and remote drone work. Not very exciting. But you must be brilliant, another woman said. She sat to his left, so close their shoulders almost touched. Such work requires advanced mathematics and spatial reasoning. I mean, it's just my job. Marcus felt his face heating up. Anyone with the training could do it. No, Dr. Vila said firmly. Not anyone. We have reviewed your work, Marcus Chen. Your efficiency ratings are exceptional. Your trajectory calculations are elegant. You are being modest. You reviewed my work? Marcus blinked. When? Before we arrived, we accessed the public database. Standard procedure when approaching an unknown station. That made sense. Still felt weird. Food began arriving. Dishes that floated on anti-gravity platters. Marcus stared at something that looked like blue noodles wrapped around glowing vegetables. Another dish held what might have been meat, but it shimmered like oil on water. Is this safe for humans to eat? Marcus asked carefully. Completely safe, Dr. Vila assured him. We studied human dietary requirements. Everything here is compatible with your biology. Some dishes we modified specifically for you. You modified your food for me? Of course, you are our host. It would be improper to serve you food you cannot eat. Marcus took a cautious bite of the blue noodles. Flavor exploded in his mouth. Sweet savory, with a slight tang that reminded him of citrus. It was possibly the best thing he'd ever tasted. This is amazing, he said honestly. The women beamed. Several whispered to each other, nodding. We are pleased you enjoy it, Dr. Vila said. Tell us, Marcus Chen, why does a human choose to live alone in space? This seems unusual for your species. Marcus took another bite, buying time. How did he explain without sounding pathetic? I like the quiet, he said finally. Back on Earth, everything was crowded. Loud. Everyone always wanted something from you. Out here, it's just me and the stars. I can think. You have no family, no mate? The woman to his left asked. Her name was Kira. She'd introduced herself 3 times, sitting closer each time. No mate. My parents are on Earth. I message them sometimes. But no, nobody special. The entire table went silent. Marcus looked up from his food. Every woman was staring at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. Hunger? No, that wasn't right. Interest. Definitely interest. That is... Dr. Vila paused. Surprising, a male of your capabilities, unmated. This is very unusual, is it? I mean, lots of people are single. It's pretty normal where I'm from. More whispers, faster now. Marcus caught a few words. Available, no claim, opportunity. Is something wrong? Marcus asked. Not wrong, Dr. Vila said carefully. Simply unexpected. You see, Marcus Chen, in our culture, males are rare. Rare how? There are approximately 47 females born for every male in our species. Males are precious, protected, cherished. A male living alone, unguarded, performing dangerous work in isolation. She shook her head. This is unthinkable in our world. Marcus set down his fork. Wait, so you're saying... I am saying that what you consider normal, we consider impossible. A male alone is a male unprotected, vulnerable. It causes us distress to see this. I'm fine. I've been alone for 3 months. Nothing bad has happened. 3 months, Kira gasped. That is terrible. You must be so lonely. I'm not lonely. I like being alone. The women exchanged glances. Clearly, they didn't believe him. Perhaps, Dr. Vila said diplomatically, we have different definitions of contentment. But please, eat, enjoy. We have 6 days together. Perhaps we will come to understand each other better. The meal continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. The women kept finding excuses to touch Marcus. A hand on his shoulder, fingers brushing his arm. Someone adjusted his collar, claiming it was crooked. Another refilled his water glass 3 times in 10 minutes. Marcus felt like he was drowning in attention. After the meal, he excused himself as politely as possible and retreated to the observation deck, his sanctuary, his quiet place. He made it approximately 30 minutes before the door chimed. Come in, Marcus called, not looking up from his calculations. Dr. Vila entered, alone this time. I hope we did not overwhelm you, she said. My crew can be enthusiastic. It's fine, just not used to people. Yes, 3 months alone. Marcus Chen, may I ask you something personal? Marcus tensed. Depends on the question. Why did you truly come here? The solitude you describe sounds less like preference and more like escape. Marcus's hand stilled on the holographic controls. He didn't answer right away. I had a job on Earth, he said finally. Good job. Research position at a university. But there was drama, office politics. Someone took credit for my work. When I complained, I was the problem, so I left. Found the most remote posting available. End of story. That must have caused you great pain. It was just work. I'm over it. Are you? Marcus turned to look at her. Why do you care? Dr. Vila moved closer. She sat on the edge of his workstation, her eyes glowing softly in the dim light. Because, she said quietly, I understand what it means to not fit, to be different, to want escape. You're the leader of a research expedition. You seem pretty successful. I am successful because I am brilliant, Dr. Vila said without arrogance, just stating fact. But brilliance makes others uncomfortable. I ask too many questions, challenge too many assumptions. On my world, I am respected but not liked. This expedition, leading this crew far from home, this is also escape, Marcus Chen. We are not so different. Marcus studied her face. Behind the alien features, he saw something familiar, loneliness, the kind that came from being smart in a world that didn't always appreciate it. 6 days, Marcus said. Then you leave, and I go back to my quiet life. 6 days, Dr. Vila agreed, but she smiled slightly. Many things can happen in 6 days. She left, and Marcus was alone again. But the observation deck felt different now. Less like a sanctuary and more like a hiding place. He tried to return to his calculations, but his mind kept drifting. To the meal, to the women, to the way they'd looked at him like he was something precious. His comm panel lit up with a message, then another, then 10 more. All from different crew members. "Kira, thank you for joining us for meal, Marcus Chen. Your presence brought great joy." Another named Sira. "If you require assistance with your work, please call upon me. I am skilled in gravitational mathematics." Another. "I have many questions about human culture. Perhaps we could speak tomorrow." Marcus scrolled through them all. Every single woman from the Luminara had sent him a message, friendly, eager, interested. He leaned back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. 6 days. This was going to be a very long 6 days. Far away, in the guest quarters, Dr. Vila stood before her assembled crew. They looked at her expectantly. "You have all confirmed it?" Vila asked. 26 heads nodded. A human male. "Prime age, unmatched, brilliant, alone." Vela began pacing. "Do you understand what this means?" "It means opportunity," Kira said quietly. "It means more than opportunity," Vela corrected. "It means destiny. How often does the universe place such a male in our path? A male who is not claimed, who is here, isolated, approachable." "He said he likes being alone," Sira pointed out. "He says many things," Vila replied. "But I saw his eyes during the meal. I saw how he responded to attention, to kindness. He is starved for connection, whether he admits it or not. That university, that betrayal, it damaged him. He hides here, pretending solitude is choice when it is actually wound. So what do we do?" Kira asked. Vela smiled. "We have 6 days to show Marcus Chen that perhaps he does not want to be alone after all. 6 days to demonstrate that some company is worth keeping. We must be subtle, gentle. We do not wish to frighten him. And if he still wishes solitude after 6 days," Vila's smile faded, "then we respect his choice and leave. But I do not think he will choose solitude. Not once he remembers what connection feels like." The crew dispersed to their sleeping pods, but the air hummed with anticipation. Back in the observation deck, Marcus finally shut down his workstation. He floated to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere in the back of his mind, a small voice whispered that perhaps 6 days wouldn't be long enough. He ignored that voice. Marcus woke to the smell of fresh coffee, real coffee. Not the synthetic powder he'd been drinking for 3 months. Actual, genuine, brewed from beans coffee. He opened his eyes. His quarters were still dark, still quiet. But that smell was unmistakable. He pulled on his shirt and opened the door. A thermal container sat on the floor outside, still steaming. A handwritten note was attached. "Good morning, Marcus Chen. I noticed you drink coffee each morning. This is from my personal supply. Enjoy your day. Sira." Marcus picked up the container and took a cautious sip. It was perfect. Exactly the right temperature. The right strength. Better than anything he'd made himself in months. He looked down the corridor. Empty. Sira must have left it and disappeared. It was a nice gesture. Thoughtful. Marcus told himself it was just hospitality as he drank the entire container. By the time he reached the engineering bay, 3 more crew members had found reasons to be there. They were examining his equipment with professional interest, taking notes on data pads. "Morning," Marcus said carefully. "Marcus Chen," one of them turned, her face lighting up. Her name badge said Lyra. "We hope you do not mind. Dr. Vila gave us permission to observe your work. Your planetary engineering setup is remarkable." "It's pretty standard," Marcus said, moving to his primary console. "It is not standard," another woman said. Her badge read, "Nix. You have made 17 modifications to the standard equipment. Each modification improves efficiency by small margins. Together, they create significant improvement. This is the work of someone who thinks deeply about their craft." Marcus felt his ears heating up. I just made a few adjustments. Do not diminish your accomplishments, Lyra said gently. We are scientists. We recognize excellence when we see it. They stayed all morning, asking questions, genuinely interested in his work. Marcus found himself explaining his methods, his calculations, his theories. They listened like every word mattered. They asked intelligent questions. They understood what he was talking about. It had been so long since anyone had really listened. By lunch, Marcus realized he'd enjoyed the morning. Their presence hadn't been intrusive. It had been stimulating. Nice, even. He immediately felt guilty for thinking it. The afternoon brought more visitors. Kira appeared with a device she claimed was malfunctioning. Could Marcus look at it? He could. It took him 20 minutes to fix a loose connection. Kira thanked him profusely, her hand lingering on his arm. Then Sira returned with questions about human mathematics. Did humans use the same base 10 system? How did human computers process information? Marcus answered each question, and somehow an hour passed. Then Dr. Vela invited him to observe their repair work on the Luminara. Marcus agreed, curious about their technology. The ship's interior was stunning. Organic curves instead of harsh angles. Lighting that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Everything felt alive somehow. Our ships are grown, not built, Vela explained, leading him through curving corridors. Biological engineering combined with technology. The ship is, in some ways, alive. That's incredible, Marcus breathed, running his hand along a wall. It was warm. He could feel a faint pulse beneath his fingers. We could show you more, Vela said, if you are interested. Our propulsion systems operate on principles human engineers have not yet discovered. I'd love that, Vela smiled. Tomorrow, then. We will make time. That evening, Marcus was invited to another meal. He told himself he should refuse, should maintain professional distance, should remember this was temporary. But he went anyway. The food was again incredible. The conversation flowed easily. Someone asked about Earth, and Marcus found himself talking about oceans and mountains and cities he hadn't thought about in months. The women listened, fascinated, asking detailed questions. Have you seen the Great Barrier Reef? Kira asked. Once, when I was a kid, it was beautiful. Dying, but beautiful. Dying? Several women looked concerned. Climate change, pollution. Humanity hasn't been great at taking care of its own planet. Marcus took a drink. One of the reasons I'm out here. Trying to make sure we don't make the same mistakes with other worlds. A noble purpose, Vela said quietly. You carry heavy responsibility alone. Someone has to do it. But does it have to be alone? Marcus didn't have an answer for that. After the meal, he walked back to the observation deck. But this time, he didn't mind when the door chimed 10 minutes later. Kira entered, carrying 2 cups. I brought tea. A human variety. Chamomile. I researched that it helps with relaxation. You researched human tea? I wanted to bring you something you would enjoy. She sat beside him, not too close, respecting his space. May I stay? Or do you prefer solitude? Marcus surprised himself. You can stay. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars. Kira didn't push conversation. Didn't demand attention. She just sat there, peaceful, her presence oddly calming. Can I ask you something? Marcus said eventually. Anything. Why are you all being so nice to me? And don't say it's just hospitality. This is more than that. Kira was quiet for a long moment. Would you believe me if I said we simply like you? Nobody likes someone this much after 2 days. Perhaps we are better judges of character than you think. Kira turned to look at him. You are kind, Marcus Chen. Intelligent. Thoughtful. You opened your station to strangers in need. You share your knowledge freely. You listen when we speak. These are not common qualities, even among our own people. Why should we not appreciate them? I'm also antisocial, awkward. I live alone in space because I can't handle normal society. Or perhaps normal society could not handle you, Kira said softly. Perhaps they saw your brilliance and felt threatened. Perhaps they took advantage of your kindness and called it weakness. Perhaps you are not the problem, Marcus Chen. Perhaps they were. Marcus's throat tightened. He stared out at the stars, not trusting himself to speak. Kira finished her tea and stood. Thank you for allowing me to stay. Sleep well, Marcus Chen. She left, and Marcus sat alone in the darkness, her words echoing in his mind. The next 3 days fell into a pattern. Morning coffee appeared outside his door. Different crew members visited throughout the day, always with legitimate reasons. Questions about their repairs, curiosity about his work, requests for his expertise. But beneath it all, connection, conversation, laughter. Marcus's station, silent for 3 months, filled with life. He tried to maintain distance, tried to remember this was temporary. But he found himself looking forward to the visits, found himself disappointed when evening came and he had to return to his quarters alone. On the 5th day, Dr. Vila found him in the engineering bay. Marcus Chen, I must speak with you about something important. Marcus's stomach dropped. Your repairs are done. Yes, the Luminara is fully functional. We could depart tomorrow. Oh, the word came out smaller than Marcus intended. However, Vila continued, we have a proposal. Our expedition continues for another 8 months. We will be studying 17 different systems. Each system has planetary bodies that require the expertise of someone like you. We would like to offer you a position as consulting engineer aboard the Luminara. Marcus stared at her. You want me to join your crew? We want you to join us, yes. The pay would be triple your current salary. You would have your own quarters, access to our research, the opportunity to work on problems far more complex than what you face here alone, and, Vela hesitated, you would have company, if you wanted it. I have a contract here. 5 years. Contracts can be bought out. We have already contacted your employer. They are willing to release you with appropriate compensation. You contacted my employer? Marcus felt off balance. When? Yesterday. We wanted to have all information before making our offer. Vila moved closer. Marcus Chen, I will be honest. Yes, we need your expertise. Yes, you would be valuable to our mission. But that is not the only reason we ask. We have come to care for you, all of us. We do not wish to leave you alone. I'm fine alone. Are you? Vila's amber eyes searched his face. Or have the last 5 days reminded you what it feels like to not be alone? I have watched you, Marcus. You smile now. You laugh. You are less tense. This is what connection does. This is what you have been missing. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to insist he was fine. But the words stuck in his throat. Because she was right. I need time to think, he managed. Of course. We depart tomorrow at noon. You have until then to decide. Vila turned to leave, then paused. One more thing. This choice is yours alone. If you choose to stay, we will respect that decision. We will leave and you will never see us again. But if you choose to come, she smiled, you will be welcomed, truly welcomed, not as an employee, as family. She left Marcus alone with his thoughts. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He floated in the observation deck, staring at the Luminara through the window. Its lights pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. 8 months with them. 8 months of conversation and laughter, and people who actually listened. 8 months of not being alone. But also 8 months of noise, of people, of everything he'd run from. Except they weren't like the people he'd run from. They didn't take credit for his work, didn't dismiss his ideas, didn't make him feel small. They made him feel valued. His comm panel lit up. Messages from the crew. Not pushing, not demanding, just saying goodbye. Thanking him for his hospitality, wishing him well. Sira, you made our stay wonderful. Thank you, Marcus Chen. Lyra, I will miss our conversations about mathematics. Nix, whatever you choose, know that you are brilliant and worthy. Kira, I hope you find happiness wherever that may be. 27 messages, 27 goodbyes. Marcus read them all twice. Then he looked around his empty station. At the silence he'd thought he wanted. At the solitude he'd convinced himself was safety. It wasn't safety. Kira had been right. It was hiding. Marcus pulled up his communication console and began typing. Marcus stood in the docking bay at 11:45, watching the airlock that connected his station to the Luminara. In his hand, he held a single bag. Everything he owned that mattered fit inside. 3 changes of clothes, his personal data pad, a photo of his parents, his grandfather's watch. That was it. 3 months ago, he'd arrived at this station with the same bag, ready to disappear, ready to hide. Now he was leaving, and he had no idea if he was making the biggest mistake of his life or the best decision. The airlock door opened. Dr. Vila stepped through, alone. Her expression was carefully neutral, but her eyes searched his face. "You are here," she said simply. "I'm here." Marcus hefted his bag. "I sent my resignation to the company this morning. They weren't happy, but they accepted it. I'm officially unemployed. Not unemployed, employed by us now." Vila's face broke into a genuine smile. "Marcus Chen, you have made us very happy. I haven't even started yet. What if I'm terrible at this?" "You will not be terrible. But even if you were, we would still be happy you chose to come." Before Marcus could respond, the Luminara's internal doors opened and the entire crew poured into the docking bay. They weren't supposed to be there. This was supposed to be a professional departure. But they were all there, and they were all smiling. Kira reached him first. "You are coming with us?" "Apparently I've lost my mind, but yes, you have not lost your mind," Sira said, appearing at his other side. "You have found it." "There is difference." The crew surrounded him, not crowding, but close. Their excitement was genuine. Their joy was real. Marcus felt something in his chest loosen. Something that had been tight for a very long time. "All right," Vila said, raising her voice slightly. "Let us not overwhelm him before we even leave the station. Marcus Chen needs to see his quarters. Settle in. We have 8 months together." "There is time." The crew reluctantly dispersed, though several kept glancing back at Marcus as they returned to the ship. Vila led Marcus through the airlock and into the Luminara. The corridors felt different now. Less like a visitor's tour and more like coming home. "Your quarters are on level 3, Vila explained. "Near the research labs. We thought you would appreciate being close to your work." She pressed her hand against a door panel. It slid open, revealing a space twice the size of his station quarters. A large window looked out at the stars. A work desk with holographic displays. A real bed, not a sleeping pod. Shelves already installed, waiting for his belongings. "This is too much," Marcus said. "This is standard for senior staff." "You are senior staff now." Vila walked to the window. "We depart in 10 minutes. I will give you time to settle. When you are ready, come to the bridge. I will show you our navigation systems." She left, and Marcus was alone in his new quarters. He set his bag on the bed and moved to the window. Through it, he could see his station. Kepler 442, his home for 3 months. Already it looked small, lonely. Had he really been happy there? Or had he just been numb? A gentle vibration ran through the floor. The docking clamps releasing. The Luminara was separating from the station. Marcus watched his old life drift away. Then he turned and walked toward the bridge. The bridge was unlike any human ship Marcus had ever seen. No chairs, no rigid stations. Instead, crew members floated in zero gravity around holographic displays that hung in the air like glowing jellyfish. Information flowed between displays in streams of light. Dr. Vila floated in the center, her hands moving through data with practiced ease. "Marcus Chen, welcome." She gestured to a display. "This is our navigation system. Watch." The display showed their current system. 17 planetary bodies, countless asteroids, 3 comets. Lines of trajectory crisscrossed the space, showing probable paths. We need to reach the next jump point, Vila explained. But the asteroid field is dense. Normal navigation would take 6 days. Your expertise could reduce that significantly. Marcus studied the display. His mind shifted into calculation mode. Mass, velocity, gravitational influences. He saw the patterns, saw the spaces between the chaos. There, he said, pointing. If you adjust your vector by 3 degrees and use that gas giant's gravity to slingshot, you could cut through this section safely. 4 days, maybe 3.5. Vila's eyes widened. Show me. Marcus pulled up the calculation interface. His fingers flew through the holographic controls. Numbers cascaded. Trajectories adjusted. The path lit up in blue. The bridge went silent. That is brilliant, someone whispered. I told you, Vila said. But she was smiling. I told you all he was brilliant. Marcus felt his face heating. It's just basic physics. It is not basic, Vila corrected. It is intuitive. You see solutions others cannot see. This is gift, Marcus Chen. Own it. The crew implemented his navigation plan. The Luminara's engines hummed to life, a sound like music, and the ship began to move. Marcus floated on the bridge, surrounded by crew members who treated him like an equal, and realized something. He wasn't anxious, wasn't overwhelmed. He was excited. The first week aboard the Luminara passed in a blur. Marcus threw himself into the work. Every system they approached had problems. Debris fields, unstable orbits, gravitational anomalies. Each problem was a puzzle, and Marcus solved them one by one. But the work wasn't the only thing that filled his days. Meals became social events. The crew rotated cooking duties, and everyone gathered in the common area to eat together. They told stories, shared jokes, asked Marcus about Earth, and actually listened to his answers. Kira started teaching him their language. Just a few words each day. He was terrible at it, but she was patient. Sira showed him their meditation techniques, ways to quiet his mind that didn't involve isolation. Lyra taught him their music, strange, beautiful instruments that responded to touch and thought. Slowly, carefully, Marcus began to relax. But he noticed something else too. The crew's attention hadn't diminished. If anything, it had increased. They found reasons to be near him, to touch his arm when they spoke, to sit close during meals, to seek his opinion on everything. At first, Marcus found it flattering, then confusing, then concerning. On day 9, he finally asked Vila about it. They were in the research lab, reviewing data. Alone, for once. Can I ask you something? Marcus said. Always. Your crew. They're very attentive, to me specifically. Is that normal? Vila set down her data pad. You want honesty? Please, no, it is not normal. They are attentive because they are interested. Romantically interested. Marcus nearly dropped his own data pad. What? Most of them. Perhaps all of them. Vila smiled slightly. This surprises you? Yes, I mean, we barely know each other. And there are 27 of them. We are scientists, Marcus Chen. We observe. We analyze. We have observed you for 9 days. Your kindness, your intelligence, your patience, your humor. These are attractive qualities. Why should we not be interested? Because it's weird. Because I'm human and you're not? Species compatibility is not issue. Our biologies are similar enough. And we find your differences intriguing, not problematic. Marcus ran his hand through his hair. This is insane. Is it? Or is it simply unfamiliar? Vila moved closer. In my culture, a male of value is courted by many females. He chooses who, if anyone, he wishes to bond with. There is no shame in having many interested parties. It is expected, natural. But I don't know how to handle that. I barely dated back on Earth, and that was one person at a time. Then handle it your way, Vila said gently. Set boundaries. Be honest about your comfort level. We will respect your choices. But do not ask us to pretend we are not interested. That would be dishonest. Marcus leaned against the lab table. What about you? Are you interested too? Vila met his eyes. Yes, I am interested. But I am also your employer and mission leader. I will not abuse that position. If you were ever interested in me, it would have to be your choice, made freely, with no pressure. That's very professional of you. I try, Vela smiled. But I am also not blind. You are remarkable, Marcus Chen, and I am not immune to remarkable. She left him alone in the lab with his thoughts. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He floated in his quarters, staring at the ceiling. 27 women, interested in him. A month ago, he would have run, would have panicked, would have found the nearest escape pod. But now he wasn't sure what he felt. Flattered, certainly. Confused, absolutely. Overwhelmed, definitely. But not scared, not anymore. His door chimed. Come in, Marcus called. Kira entered, holding 2 cups of tea. I saw your lights were still on. I thought you might want company. Or I can leave if you prefer solitude. Marcus surprised himself again. Company is fine. She sat beside him, offering a cup. They drank in comfortable silence. Vila told me she spoke with you, Kira said eventually. About our interest. She did. Are you upset? I don't know what I am, Marcus admitted. Confused, mostly. That is fair. Kira turned to look at him. Marcus Chen, may I be honest with you? Please. When we first arrived at your station, I thought you would be like other males we have met. Arrogant or fragile, demanding or dismissive, but you were none of those things. You were kind, real. You did not perform or pretend. You were simply yourself. That is rare. That is valuable. That is why we are interested. I'm not special, Kira. I'm just a guy who's decent at math and terrible at small talk. You are special to us. Is that not enough? She set down her cup. You do not have to reciprocate our interest. You do not have to choose anyone. But do not diminish yourself. Do not say you are not worthy of attention. That is false, and you know it is false. Marcus felt his throat tighten. I'm not used to this. I know, but perhaps you can become used to it. Perhaps you can learn to accept that people can value you without wanting something from you. That interest can be genuine. That you are worthy exactly as you are. She stood to leave. Kira? She turned. Thank you. For the tea. For listening. For being patient with me. She smiled. Always, Marcus Chen. Always. After she left, Marcus returned to the window. Outside, stars streaked past as the Luminara traveled between systems. Somewhere behind them, his old station orbited alone. Empty. Silent. Safe. Marcus didn't miss it. Not even a little bit. He finally understood what Kira meant. He wasn't running anymore. He was moving forward. And for the first time in years, he was excited to see what came next. 3 months into the journey, Marcus realized he'd stopped counting the days. Back on the station, every day had been marked, crossed off, endured. Time had been something to survive. Now time just flowed. Days blended into weeks. Work became play. Solitude became memory. Marcus stood on the bridge, watching as they approached their 6th system. A trinary star system with 42 planetary bodies. Chaos in gravitational form. This one is complicated, Vila said beside him. We need to place research probes in 12 locations. But the gravitational interference makes stable orbits nearly impossible. Marcus studied the holographic display. 3 stars, each pulling in different directions. Planets wobbling in irregular patterns. Asteroids careening through the spaces between. It was beautiful, complex, perfect. Give me 4 hours, Marcus said. 4 hours? Vila raised an eyebrow. Our navigation, I estimated 3 days minimum. Your navigation, I doesn't think like I do. Marcus wasn't being arrogant. It was just fact. Over the past 3 months, he'd learned something important. His brain worked differently, saw patterns others missed, found solutions in chaos. It wasn't better, just different. And here, different was valuable. He locked himself in the research lab and went to work. Numbers flowed, trajectories calculated, His mind slipped into that place where time stopped mattering and only the problem existed. 3 hours and 47 minutes later, he had it. 12 perfect orbits, each one using the gravitational chaos to its advantage. Instead of fighting the system, his solution danced with it. Marcus brought the calculations to the bridge. The crew gathered around as he displayed his work. Silence fell as they processed what they were seeing. "This is impossible," someone whispered. "It's not impossible," Marcus said. "It's just really complicated math." "No," Vila breathed, her eyes wide. "This is art. This is genius." Marcus Chen, "This is beyond anything our AI could have produced. This is intuition and mathematics combined." The crew erupted in excited chatter. They began implementing his solution immediately. Within hours, all 12 probes were in perfect position. That night, the crew threw a celebration. Music filled the common area. Real music, not recordings. Crew members played those strange instruments that hummed and sang. Others danced in the low gravity, spinning and floating in patterns that looked like liquid poetry. Marcus sat at a table, watching. Happy to observe, content to be part of the background. Kira peered beside him. "Why are you not dancing?" "I don't know how." "Then learn." She extended her hand. Marcus hesitated, then took it. She pulled him into the dancing crowd. In the low gravity, movement was easier, lighter. She taught him the basic steps, laughing when he stumbled, encouraging when he got it right. Other crew members joined. Sarah, Lyra, Nix. They took turns showing him different moves, spinning in between them, making him part of the dance. Marcus laughed, actually laughed. The sound surprised him. When had he last laughed like this? Free and genuine and real. The music slowed. The crowd thinned. Marcus found himself alone with Dr. Vela near the observation window. "You are happy," she observed. "I am," Marcus admitted. "That's weird, right? 3 months ago, I was convinced I needed to be alone to be happy. Now I can't imagine going back to that. People change. Circumstances change. There is no shame in discovering you were wrong about yourself. Were you wrong about anything?" Marcus asked. Vela smiled. "Many things. I thought this expedition would be purely professional, scientific. I did not expect to find someone like you. Did not expect my crew to become so attached. Did not expect to become so attached myself. Attached is a strong word. It is accurate word." Vila turned to face him fully. "Marcus Chen, I have been patient, professional. I have maintained appropriate distance. But I think it is time for honesty." Marcus's heart rate picked up. "Okay, I am interested in you, romantically, genuinely. Not because you are novel or rare or exotic, but because you are kind and brilliant and real. Because you make me laugh. Because you see beauty in chaos. Because when you explain your work, your whole face lights up and I cannot look away." She paused. "But I am also your employer. I am mission leader. I will not abuse that position, so I must know, is my interest unwelcome? Should I maintain distance? Tell me honestly, and I will respect your answer." Marcus opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. 3 months ago, this conversation would have terrified him. The vulnerability, the directness, the emotional honesty. Now it just felt right. "Your interest isn't unwelcome," Marcus said carefully. "But I need you to understand something. I'm not good at this, romance, relationships. I'm going to be awkward and make mistakes and probably say the wrong thing constantly. I do not need you to be smooth. I need you to be yourself. What about the others? Kira and Sira and half your crew. They're interested too. Then you have choices," Vila said simply. "In my culture, this is normal. A male of value has many interested parties. He chooses who he wishes to spend time with. There is no expectation of exclusivity unless both parties desire it. You can explore connections without pressure, without commitment. Until and unless you decide otherwise. That sounds complicated. It can be, or it can be simple. You spend time with people you enjoy. You are honest about your feelings. You let relationships develop naturally. Some may become romantic. Some may remain friendships. All are valuable. Marcus considered this. It was so different from Earth's dating culture. No games, no rules, just honesty and choice. What if I mess everything up? Then you mess up. We are scientists, Marcus Chen. We understand that experiments sometimes fail. That is how we learn. Vila moved slightly closer. But I do not think you will mess up. I think you will surprise yourself. Can I start small? Maybe dinner tomorrow? Just the two of us? Vila's face lit up. I would like that very much. The next evening, Marcus met Vila in the smaller observation lounge. She'd set up a simple meal, nothing elaborate. Just food and conversation. They talked for hours, about science, about their childhoods, about dreams and fears and embarrassing moments. Vila told him about growing up brilliant in a culture that valued consensus. Marcus told her about the university, the betrayal, the retreat into solitude. They were fools, Vila said quietly. They had someone remarkable and threw him away. Their loss is our gain. You keep saying I'm remarkable. I'm really not. You solved a problem in 4 hours that our AI said would take 3 days. You have revolutionized how we approach gravitational calculations. You have brought joy and laughter to this crew. You are remarkable, Marcus Chen. The fact that you cannot see it only makes you more so. Marcus felt his face heating. You're not so bad yourself. Brilliant researcher. Patient leader, kind person. Pretty sure you're out of my league. There are no leagues. There are only people who fit together or do not. Vila reached across the table and took his hand. We fit, I think. Her hand was warm, real, right. Marcus squeezed gently. Yeah, I think we do. Over the next 2 months, Marcus explored connections carefully. Dinner with Vila became a weekly tradition. He studied language with Kira, and their lessons became longer, more personal. He worked alongside Sira in the lab, and their professional relationship deepened into friendship that occasionally felt like more. It was strange. It was new. It was terrifying. It was wonderful. Marcus learned to accept attention without suspicion. Learned to trust that interest could be genuine. Learned that being valued didn't mean being used. He learned to laugh again. To hope again. To want connection instead of fearing it. 8 months after leaving his station, the Luminara's mission approached its end. One final system. One last set of calculations. The crew gathered in the common area for a meeting. Dr. Vela stood at the front. Our expedition concludes in 3 weeks, she announced. We will return to our homeworld. Mission complete. Data collected. Success achieved. She paused. However, we have discussed options for future expeditions. The Luminara will launch again in 6 months. New systems, new research. Another year-long journey. Her eyes found Marcus. We would like to extend your contract. If you wish to return with us to our homeworld, you would be welcome. You could meet our families, see our cities, experience our culture. Then, if you chose, you could join us for the next expedition. What if I don't want to wait 6 months? Marcus asked. The room went silent. What do you mean? Vela asked carefully. Marcus stood. I mean, what if I just stay? Come to your homeworld. Live there. Work there. Be part of your world instead of just visiting. You would leave Earth? Leave human space entirely. What's keeping me there? My parents are proud of me regardless of where I live. I have no other family. No home I'm attached to. Nothing pulling me back. Marcus looked around the room at faces that had become familiar, dear. Important. Everything I care about is here, on this ship. Why would I leave? Kira stood, her eyes shining. You would truly stay? If you'll have me. If your world allows aliens to immigrate. If this isn't completely insane. It is completely insane, Vila said. But she was smiling. And we would be honored to have you. All of us. The crew erupted in cheers. They surrounded Marcus, not crushing, but close. Their joy was genuine. Their excitement was real. Marcus had run from Earth looking for peace, for quiet, for escape. Instead, he'd found something better. He'd found home. 3 weeks later, Marcus stood on the bridge as the Luminara approached a blue-green planet. Cities glittered on the night side. Ships moved in orbital patterns. Space stations dotted the nearby moons. "That is my homeworld," Vila said beside him. "Theron Prime, it's beautiful. It will be strange for you, different. We are the dominant species here. You will be the unusual one, the exotic one. Are you prepared for that?" Marcus thought about his station. The silence, the isolation, the safety of being alone. Then he thought about the past 8 months, the laughter, the connection, the joy of being known. "I spent years trying to disappear," Marcus said. "Trying to be invisible, small, unnoticed. I thought that was safety. But it wasn't. It was just slow death." He turned to Vila. "I don't want to disappear anymore. I want to be seen, known, connected, even if it's strange. Even if it's scary. Even if I'm the weird alien who's bad at dancing and terrible at your language." Vila took his hand. "You are not terrible at our language. You are merely charmingly incompetent. That's the same thing. It is not. One is failure. One is endearing." She squeezed his hand. "Welcome home, Marcus Chen. Welcome to your new life." The Luminara descended through the atmosphere. Marcus watched his new world rise up to meet him. Somewhere far away, an empty station orbited in silence. A job posting would go out. Someone else would take the contract, would seek the same solitude Marcus had sought. Marcus hoped they would find what they were looking for. But he also hoped they would learn, as he had learned, that sometimes the thing you're running from isn't people. It's yourself. And sometimes the thing you're running toward isn't solitude. It's belonging. The ship touched down. The airlock opened. Beyond it, a new world waited. Strange, different, unknown. Marcus took a deep breath and stepped forward. Not running, not hiding, not disappearing. Just moving forward, into whatever came next, with people who valued him, who saw him, who wanted him there. And for the first time in years, Marcus Chen felt like he was exactly where he belonged.